Here we are at question 13 of LSAT PrepTest 157's second section, the first logical reasoning section over at lawhub.lsac.org. As always, we've got a highlight tool ready to go. We read question 13's question stem to begin. Which one of the following, if true, would add the most support to the argument? So we're just going to highlight add the most support to the argument, and we know that we're looking at a basic strengthened task. So we need to read the paragraph, identify the conclusion, highlight that conclusion for easy reference, and hopefully mentally predict a broad way that the correct answer choice should strengthen that conclusion. Reading from the top, in Northern Europe, archaeologists have discovered 400,000-year-old sharpened wooden poles alongside flint cutting implements and the remains of horses. Okay, that's just a discovery, it's a fact. Since it is normally assumed that Homo sapiens did not inhabit Europe prior to 200,000 years ago, this discovery effectively disproves the widespread belief that the human-like precursors of Homo sapiens were entirely gatherers and scavengers and did not hunt. So the conclusion should hopefully be rather apparent. It's the final clause that states this discovery disproves the belief that the human-like precursors of Homo sapiens were entirely gatherers and scavengers and did not hunt. So we want to mentally predict that our correct answer needs to show that these old sharpened wooden poles are actually going to show that they were hunters. So we need to find an answer choice that says these wooden poles that were sharpened and alongside the remains of horses and flint cutting implements means that they were used more likely for hunting than any other purpose. So going to choice A, sharpened wooden poles were not used by human-like precursors of Homo sapiens for self-defense or to cut or transport scavenged carcasses. So this basically eliminates other possible usages for these old sharpened wooden poles. So if we eliminate other purposes, it's more likely that the purpose that has been presented in the conclusion is realistically valid. So this actually does directly accomplish our prediction of saying, hey, it's likely that these were used for hunting by saying that they weren't used for self-defense or to cut scavenged carcasses, which would make them scavengers. So choice A, hopefully we can eliminate or select proactively almost immediately. Next, choice B. Human-like inhabitants of Northern Europe are known to have used stones and wooden sticks as tools more than 400,000 years ago. Well, we're not talking about stones and wooden sticks. We're talking specifically about sharpened wooden poles. So choice B is a term shift. We can eliminate it immediately. Next, choice C. Homo sapiens evolved from human-like precursors at least 200,000 years earlier than is normally assumed. Okay, so they evolved. We're talking about the precursors, not Homo sapiens themselves. So this needs additional information, a lot of additional information, to relate to the argument presented about whether these precursors were entirely gatherers and scavengers or hunters. So we can eliminate choice C, hopefully as well for those reasons. Then choice D, the human-like precursors of Homo sapiens developed widely divergent patterns of behavior in the very different ecosystems they inhabited. Okay, wildly divergent patterns of behavior. Does that have to do with them being gatherers, scavengers, or hunters? I have no idea. Choice D needs a whole lot of additional information about what widely divergent patterns of behaviors means, so we can eliminate it almost immediately. And then choice E, prehistoric Homo sapiens who adopted hunting as a means of food acquisition. Well, prehistoric Homo sapiens is not the same as human-like precursors of Homo sapiens. So again, once we have proactively selected A, hopefully, as soon as we find a term shift, we can eliminate E. And of course, the correct answer for this problem is indeed choice A. That does strengthen that original conclusion.